Something is fundamentally broken, and it's being revealed in the American economy. While stock market headlines suggest things are fine, the actual numbers representing real life just dropped a massive red flag. Consumer confidence. No, it didn't just slip this month. It collapsed 9.7 points, and that's lower than the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. The expectations index plunged to 65.1. Now, in macroeconomics, any reading below 80 signals a recession is ahead. Hello again and welcome. My name is Stephen J. Campbell, and this is a channel where you might come for some Vegas, but just stay and see how it truly predicts the nation's future. And in this video, I'm going to use what's called America's Adult Disneyland, my hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada, to demonstrate how consumer confidence is at an all-time low. And we're going to touch upon what this means for you, your money, and what might be coming next so you can better prepare yourselves. Because once you understand the concept of consumer confidence, it makes a whole lot of the world you have to navigate with your money make a whole lot more sense after all. You see, Americans' personal savings rate has just cratered to 3.5%. This means that families spend 96.5% of every dollar that they earn. That means there is simply no cushion left for fun money. Discretionary spending for travel and dining is expected to be cut by 54% in the coming year. And the labor market is the next shoe to drop. Jobs rated as plentiful at one point are now at their lowest point since early 2021. As the Conference Board chief economist noted, confidence has collapsed. It's surpassing its pandemic depths. And instead, we're watching the hollowing out of the consumer in real time, as families have to choose between groceries and a flight to Vegas. Vegas is really the canary in the coal mine. It's built on volume. It's designed to process 40 million people a year, but that volume itself, it's vanishing. Now, through November of 2025, visitor numbers declined 7.4%. dropping to a projected yearly rate of 39.1 million visitors. Average daily visitorship has fallen to 108,000 per day, and hotel occupancy has dropped to 80.7%. Now, that scale is staggering. Caesars CEO Tom Reeg admitted they sat on 90,000 empty hotel rooms last summer. Yet, despite the visitor collapse, Strip gaming revenue remains steady. The answer is the squeeze, of course. Casino companies have shifted from hospitality to maximum extraction, taking significantly more money per person from the few who still show up. Once that trust is broken, it can take literally years to rebuild. So this is where you ask, why don't they lower prices to fill the rooms? And this is where I answer, it's because the Strip isn't really a free market. In reality, the Strip is a debt servicing machine. MGM Resorts carries $25 billion in lease obligations. Caesars sits on over $12 billion in debts. These companies must service that debt every single day, regardless of the volume of people. Fixed costs are astronomical, with a daily burn rate between $3 to $10 million just to keep their lights on. Roughly 48% of gaming revenues go straight into operating costs, and so the math is a trap. At 90% occupancy, a property is profitable, but at 80% occupancy, it barely breaks even. So we understand Vegas, but vacation towns are one thing, right? You don't need to come to Vegas. Heck, many of you probably don't even want to come here. But in a minute, I'm going to reveal how this trap, the consumer confidence trap, is affecting you, regardless of if you live in Montana, Michigan, or even the Ohio State. But first, I want to get in a brief word from our sponsor, which is still and will always be me. You know, making these videos is actually a labor of love. I spend hours researching, filming, editing, but I don't want you to just sit on the sidelines and watch your wealth decline either. And that's why I created my course. It's called 1K a day. And in it, I show you guys exactly how to grab some quick base hits from the futures markets every day. I mean, it's like the potential for $100 here, $250 there, who knows, maybe even more. It takes 15 to 20 minutes of a day of your time. And you know, I just had one of my students, and after 6 days of doing the course, he had his first 100% green day today, $182. Look at that. Simple. Click it, you're done. It's great. And so just think about it, right? $200 in 15 minutes or God forbid, driving DoorDash, Uber, driving Lyft. Your wife's asking you why you're running the garden hose. You washing the car. You don't want to tell her no, it's vomit from the guy last night. Ugh. Anyways, if it sounds good to you, click the link in the first pinned comment. You're going to type in the word CC5. I only have 5 spots left for lifetime access for $199. That's less than you'll pay for a pair of AirPods Pros. But do yourself a favor. Just do it before the corporate overlords that host my platform decide that my price has to go up. What we're seeing on the Las Vegas Strip isn't just a tourism trend. What it is the K-shaped recovery in its final, most brutal form. Vegas is just one place where the mask comes off. You look at the properties like the Wynn, and they're doing just fine. Why? Because the high-end consumer, the top 5 to 10%, they're still flush with cash. They aren't checking the prices of a gallon of milk or worrying about their utility bills. But then look at the data. Even they are spending a little less time actually enjoying the experience. And we're moving into an era of high-stress, high-cost recreation. But the real story, the story that affects you and your neighbors, it's the great deletion of the middle class. It's the families earning between $50,000 to $100,000 that have traditionally been the engine of the American economy. They were the volume that made businesses work. But today, that middle class family from Ohio or Texas, they look at the math and realize it doesn't math anymore. When a mid-tier weekend for a family of 4 costs $3,000 for a vacation, the middle class just stops showing up. And this isn't just a Vegas problem. This is happening in your grocery store, your local car dealership, and your insurance premiums are sky high. We're seeing a migration away from the traditional pillars of American life. Families nationwide are downgrading every aspect of their lives just to keep their heads above water. This extraction model, it's the new national corporate strategy. They know there are fewer customers, so they're determined to take more from the ones who are actually left. And if you think a new year or a few interest rate cuts are going to save the situation, you need to look at the macro triggers. The Consumer Confidence Expectations Index is currently sitting at 65.1. And in the world of real economics, anything below 80 is a flashing red light for a recession. And people are scared, and they have every right to be. Americans who are expecting their incomes to increase has dropped down to just 15.7%. And when you couple that with a 3.5% savings rate, you realize that there's zero margin of error in the average American household right now. The corporate response is always the same, purely survival mode. But this is a national contagion. And corporations are trying to cut their way to profitability, but they're trapped in a feedback loop. They cut staff and amenities to save the margins, which makes the product worse, which drives away some more customers, which forces them to raise prices again. But the bottom line is this. Vegas and the economy isn't failing because of bad luck or bad management or mismanagement of companies. It's because the American middle class is absolutely fatigued. They're just tired. They don't know where to turn next. So here's a few things that you should really keep your eye on going forward. Number 1, jobs reports aren't really jobs reports. Every month, the government puts out reports. Call it the non-farm payroll or the JOLTS report. Those JOLTS and non-farm payroll reports are largely symbolic. Pay close attention to the revisions on those reports, because 6 months to a year later, those reports that said everything was just fine simply wipe out hundreds of thousands of jobs. It happened last year with 900,000 fake jobs being just wiped off the books right before the election. And if you want to keep a close eye on anything, you should keep close eyes on the ADP payroll jobs report. ADP, of course, one of the companies that prints the most paychecks across the country. You can trust a private business a little more than you can trust the government. Am I right? But first and foremost, I want to leave you with a hopeful message. And that hopeful message at the end of all of my videos is always the same. It's that you still live in America. You still live in the best country that ever existed, in the freest market. There's no president or politician or thing working against you that you can't overcome. So while your neighbors might be stressing out over consumer confidence, I urge you to create your own economy. Make an economy with multiple streams of income. Sit down today and write 25 ways that I can make more money tomorrow, and then follow through on at least one of them. Chances are, most of them will fail, but the 1 or 2 that stick, could be life-changing. If you want a head start hack, check out our trading course. I have to mention it, I'm obligated, the wife says I have to because it's how we support the channel. But just do something. Be excellent to you and your family, because I know you certainly deserve it. Once again, my name is Stephen J. Campbell, where you come for a little bit of Vegas and learn something bigger and broader about the economy. If you're even 1% smarter, consider subscribing to the channel, leaving us a comment, sharing the video, liking it. All that stuff puts this video in front of people that don't even know I exist. There's another video up near my head. The YouTube algorithm thinks you're really gonna love it, and you probably will, because the algorithm has uncanny taste. And until we meet the next time, I leave you with what my mentor always tells me: just keep swimming.